I'm just going to put it out there, man. I'm going to put it out there. It's the first time I did a video this year, so let me go ahead and get straight to it, get back in that DJ form. Your self-defense school is lying to you. Hey, what's up, everybody? Once again, my name is DJ, doing what I do, sitting back here on a Monday, chilling. And yeah, man, it's been a minute since I've been able to do a video. I've been working on my book, man. I finished my book, Self-Defense, Why Even Bother? I'll be talking to y'all about that shortly. But let's go ahead and get into this video, man. It took me a while to put this video together in my head. I was trying to think about what it's called, but I would say that it stemmed from a video that one of my instructors, Master Jody Tension, put out a video about. I say one of my instructors because I've been following this guy since I was a young white belt in Taekwondo. Trained with him a couple of times. Outstanding instructor from the Bronx. Y'all look him up. But he made a video and he talked about glorified self-esteem centers. Glorified self-esteem centers. So what is a glorified self-esteem center? A glorified self-esteem center is a school that claims to be a self-defense school, but really they are a self-esteem school. They make you feel good, but they're not actually teaching you self-defense, okay? So, like Master Jody was talking about, Master Jody Tension was talking about, a martial arts school, a self-defense school, should have an element of self-esteem. It must have an element of self-esteem. But you don't want to have that in place of proper instruction and technique, okay? You don't want to have that in place of proper instruction and technique. What we call that is giving people a false sense of security. You're making them think that they can do something and they actually can't do it. You got Krav Maga school, you got Jiu-Jitsu, you got a lot of different self-defense schools, and they're lying to you. They're telling you that they're teaching you self-defense, but actually they're not. They're teaching you self-esteem. So let's talk about the differences between a glorified self-esteem center and a real self-defense school or a real self-defense center, however you want to call your establishment, all right? Let's start with self-esteem, okay? So I'm going to give you 3 ways that you know you're in a self-esteem school and not a self-defense school, okay? So I'll give you 3. It's always 3, sometimes 4, but today I'm going to try to stick with 3. All right, cool. So the first way you know you're in a self-esteem school and not a self-defense school is their instructors are not fixing your flaws, okay? Everything you do is right. Okay, whatever you do is right. They're not fixing your flaws. If you're doing a flurry and you're doing all hitting the bag like this, no one's telling you that you need to rotate your shoulders. No one's telling you need to rotate your hips. No one's telling you, the proper placement of where you're supposed to strike the pad, whether you're going to hit with your knuckles, whether you're going to hit with the meaty side of your fist. No one's correcting you and fixing your flaws. They're just saying, go. Yeah, you can do it. Keep going. But they're not fixing your flaws, okay? If they're not fixing your flaws, you're probably in a self-esteem center and not a self-defense school, okay? Number two, you leave there, every time you leave there, you leave feeling great, okay? Now, I'm not saying when you leave school, you're not supposed to feel great. What I'm saying is if you leave your school and you feel so powerful that you feel like you have nothing else to learn, that you can take on the world, that you are unbeatable, you're probably in a self-esteem center and not a self-defense school. Because that's not how you should feel, okay? You should feel great because you learned something, you got a good workout and stuff like that, but you should also feel that you got a lot to learn. The more I've been doing this for years, and the more I take class, the more I know that I have so much more to learn. Okay? There's always, the more I know, the more I find out, the more I don't know. That makes sense? Okay? So you shouldn't leave your school feeling like you Superman or Superwoman. You should leave your school feeling like you are Clark Kent, all right, or Linda Carter, and you got a lot to learn to become Superman or Wonder Woman. All right? That's my analogy. Okay? The third thing that will let you know that you're in a self-esteem center and not a self-defense school is everything that you do works. Everything you do works, okay? If they teaching you how to get out of a choke, every time you do it, you get out the choke. They teaching you how to get out of the rear naked, every time you attempt it, you get out the rear naked. And you can, everything that you learn in that 30 or 45 minutes, you can do at full speed. You're probably in a self-esteem center, okay? Because you can't be that good in that small amount of time where you're going to get out of it every time, okay? You probably have, your attacker is probably giving it to you or stuff like that. You're going to mess up some, okay? You're going to make some mistakes, okay? You're going to make some flaws. You're going to get hung up, okay? It's important that you don't quit even though you get hung up, but you're going to get hung up sometime. But if you never make any mistakes and everything that you learn works right off the break, you're probably in a self-esteem center, okay? All right, cool. So how do you know that you are in a real self-defense school? Or I won't even just say real self-defense, a real martial arts school, okay? Well, I'm going to give you three, all right? It's always three, sometimes four, but today I'm going to try to give you three, okay? The first way you know that you are taking a real self-defense class is they're teaching you self-defense. All right? Look, you go to a class, and it's supposed to be a self-defense school, and you learn, and you hitting the bags, you're doing your jabs, your crosses, your hooks, your uppercuts, your knees, your groin kicks, you're throwing all these punches on the bag, and you feel real good, and you're throwing punches, and you feel real good, you're throwing punches, and you never learning no self-defense. It's probably not a self-defense school, okay? You got a lot of schools, and look, y'all might think this is strange, but they got a lot of schools with self-defense on the marquee, and all they doing is pad work and mitt work the whole class, okay? Yeah, they may have, sometimes you have a mitt work class, sometimes you have a bag class, but you can't call that mitt work or bag class a self-defense class. But I'm talking about all they do is mitt works and pad works. If all they do at the school is mitt work and pad work, they should take self-defense off the marquee, because that ain't self-defense, okay? It's more to it than that, okay? They got to be teaching how to get out of certain situations that happen in real life scenarios. They got to be teaching self-defense, okay? The second thing is they have to be teaching the mental side of the game, okay? Look, you got to go there, all right? You have to be thinking about what it is you're trying to defend yourself against, okay? I often tell my students that I imagine myself, going downstairs or going to the kitchen to get something out the refrigerator, and a masked man jump out at me. All right, masked man jump out at me he jump on my neck, or he has a weapon, and if that's the case, I'm not thinking about holding this guy down. I'm thinking about causing injury over pain. I'm trying to injure him so I can get myself away or who I'm with away. Look, you got to put yourself in that mental state, okay? And a lot of people can't go there. A lot of people can't go there, which is why a lot of schools, which is one of the reasons why people go to self-esteem schools and not self-defense schools, because a lot of people just can't put themselves there, but it's important. It's important to get the mental aspect of the training in order to, be able to do it for real. Okay, I'm gonna give you an example. All right. So I go to the gun range, right? I go to the gun range. Now, when I go to the gun range, I'm not shooting at the gun range for sport. Okay. It's a good sport, it's fun, but that's not why I go to the gun range. When I go to the gun range, I'm shooting thinking about defending myself. So although I'm just pointing and shooting, that's it, the basic training, okay? Although I'm just pointing and shooting, I am not thinking about the paper in which I'm shooting at. I'm imagining me putting 3 in the chest of a bad guy. I'm imagining me putting a bad guy down, okay? I'm taking him out, okay? He's gone. I'm putting 2 in the, matter of fact, 3 or 4, 5 in the chest if I can get it. I'm thinking about putting him down. I don't see a paper. I see a bad guy who is trying to kill me or do some harm to me or my family, and I got to put him down. That's what I imagine. If I don't imagine that, then I'm not shooting for self-defense. I'm shooting for recreation or a hobby. That makes sense? All right, cool. The third thing that a self-defense school or a good martial arts school has to do, let's go ahead and start the year off with it. Y'all know what I'm going to say. You must spar. You got to spar, guys. You got to spar. Now, when I say spar, I mean it's got to be some striking involved, okay? If it's not no striking involved in your sparring, okay, it ain't self-defense, okay? Now, I ain't saying now, sometimes it may be a sports sports school where you're doing more sports like wrestling or sport of wrestling, sport of jiu-jitsu, stuff like that. Maybe a sports school, which is fine. That's what you want to do. But it's not a self-defense school. If they're not striking, if they're not throwing punches back at you, you're not learning self-defense. You have to spar, and you have to spar with striking, because in a violent attack, they throw strikes. And if you're not learning how to deal with that, then you're not learning self-defense, okay? Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I know quite a few, actually, self-defense instructors. Friends of mine, people I, train with, and I know they're good, who have told me directly or indirectly that they have diluted their product in order to keep their members. Okay, I know plenty that they will tell me straight up that if I gotta dilute my product in order to feed my kids, then so be it. And every last one of them that has told me that has doubled my salary, and probably doubled, tripled, or even quadrupled my student body. Every last one of them. Their schools are flourishing. They're making money hand over feet because self-esteem centers are more profitable than self-defense centers. Okay? That's just the skinny of it. However, if you are signing up for a course and you want to learn self-defense, then that's what you should be learning, self-defense. If you want to learn how to get in shape and feel good and stuff like that, all that stuff is great, but that's not self-defense. It's self-esteem. All right, anyway, man, I'm not going to keep y'all no longer, man. I'm just going to say whatever you're going to do, whether you're going to do self-defense or do self-esteem, know what you're doing and do it to the best of your ability. All right? Peace. I'm out. Oh! Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because I got more. Speaking of more, y'all go on Amazon, man, because I got my book. My book just came out. This is why I haven't been putting those videos out. Self-defense, why even bother, how, why, and what to learn to protect yourself. I got everything in here, man. Anything you need to know is in this book. Check it out on Amazon, and I'll put a link below. All right? Peace. I'm out.